Here's Brody Brazil.
You know, there is a concern I have for Major League Baseball, and that is the sport accepting the idea that it's just wallpaper. Wait, what? Baseball as wallpaper? How can I combine here a professional sport like America's pastime with home interior design? It's just a reference, but you will understand this reference once I get to it. Let's first establish that baseball is a daily grind. 162 games across a schedule of 186 days. That's how it went in 2022. Also, how it went last year. The average game length was 3 hours and 3 minutes. That's actually jumped up about 30 minutes from even a decade ago. You do the math on every team, 3 hours, 3 minutes per game times 162. That's 490 hours per baseball season for each team of playing games. Now, if we're talking about you, the baseball fan, or the end user, right, the person who's consuming it on radio or television or in person, imagine if baseball was a sitcom series. Each show, about 30 minutes, but realistically about 22 and change, minus the commercials. So what if I told you your favorite series of show was going to put out 1,000 episodes next year? 1,000 episodes. That's a crazy amount of binging. Would you be able to watch all of those episodes, 1,000 episodes in 1 year? Highly unlikely. It's an amazing pace that baseball sets. And yeah, some people just love the fact that baseball is on every day. Could be a Tuesday afternoon, could be a Friday night, Sunday evening. There's baseball on, and people just put on baseball because it's comfortable. But just going back to the grind, it's hard for the players to get in that many games. It's hard for fans to watch and consume that many games. And so it gets me to the idea that baseball is just not entirely digestible. Watching every game, imagine if that was your job. Like, it would be a full-time job for about 6 months, 6 and/or 7 days a week, 3.5, 4 hours per day. And we talk about being digestible. On the opposite end of the spectrum, here's something that's very digestible. The National Football League. And if football truly is king right now, they play a total of 17 games in 120 days. And they usually play it on the same day every week, right? Sunday, but sometimes Monday, sometimes Thursday, maybe even a Saturday late in the season. And the NFL is only 1 game per week. And it also is about 3 hours, sometimes just a shade less. But it's only once a week. It is a much smaller commitment to be a football fan and to watch every snap, every play, every down, to understand every angle of the team. Baseball, it's almost like you can't keep up or catch up. Wait, what happened to player X? What happened to our cleanup hitter? Oh, he got hurt 3 games ago? How would I know that? Because I couldn't watch that game. It makes me wonder if a certain amount of less is actually more for baseball. Now, I haven't even got to the main theme of this video yet. I said baseball is wallpaper. Like, what do I mean by that? All right. A lot of people say they love watching baseball because it's on TV every day. It's something they can put on in the background. It's a comforting thing during the summer months to click on the TV, right? And then go do something else while baseball is on in the background. Does anybody watch football that way? I mean, I know people go to bars and football's on a screen and maybe they're watching the games with their buddies. But I mean, does anybody watch football that they're serious about and just put it on and put it in the background? No, they watch every down, every snap, every play, every possession, every quarter, every drive. They're very laser focused on the game. Don't bother me, I'm watching the game. But baseball, it's okay with like, yeah, we'll be here if you need us. And when there's a screaming on the TV, when somebody just hit a walk-off grand slam, then you can pay attention. But until then, we'll just be over here in a 3-2 count, bottom of the 6th in a 3-1 game. So the question here is, right, like going back to the wallpaper thing, do you want to be the wallpaper like Major League Baseball seems to be okay with? Or do you want to be the art on the wall like the NFL has turned into being or forced itself into being? What do you want to be? Because the wallpaper is just always going to be there and just maybe not the main attraction. Think about that for a second. So how does Major League Baseball change? How does Major League Baseball get away from being a background sport, always on, it's just there to be there? Like, do they need to foster more showcase moments? They have the World Series. They've got the All-Star game. They've got a lot of summer all to themselves. There's no NBA most of the year. There's no NHL. I mean, playoffs, they leak over. The NFL season starts at the very end of baseball and is happening during the World Series. But they literally have the months of June, July, and August, and most of September, like all by themselves. How can you foster more showcase moments in there? Also, can they let baseball breathe better? And I'm not here to say they will ever agree on lessening the schedule from like 162, even to 152 or 142. I doubt that's ever going to happen based on salary structures and revenue structures, but how can you let baseball breathe and be more digestible? Does media saturation help? I mean, the NFL is always a story. Even in March, April, May, training camp, before it even starts, there's months of build up to that. And maybe the idea for baseball, it's always been a closed off sport. It's always been, you watch the games, you get a couple interviews, but that's pretty much it. Maybe fans are too traditional in baseball. Maybe they don't want this, but maybe baseball could open up a little bit more of inside access. Stuff that you saw in the World Series, like the left fielder mic'd up during a game. Does that open up more? So instead of being that background thing that nobody's paying attention to, wait, are they interviewing the outfielder during the game? Is there a camera built into second base right now? Like that catches people's attention. That is must-see TV instead of being just wallpaper. So I don't know if this makes sense to you. It sure did when I was like brainstorming this conversation in this video, but wallpaper is something that might be consistent, but it's not something that you strive to be if you're really trying to grow the game of baseball. Let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with my sentiment? Is wallpaper a good comparison? And how does MLB get away from being the wallpaper and get back to being the art that people enjoy?